Hello, good people, and welcome to Happy Healthy Whole with Sharea. I am Sharea, and this is our last one on the mental illness versus mental health that we've been talking about over the past few weeks. Um, like I said, I wanted to talk about breaking some stigma, but also helping people to understand the difference between mental health and mental illness. And specifically, I'm going to close out on personality disorders. Like I said, I didn't get to cover all of the obviously mental illness that might be known or popular for people to discuss. If you are interested in me talking about more of them, please let me know in the comments specifically which ones you would like to discuss. Like I said, this has been an area that I would teach on when I first, or actually continue to teach on over the years, specifically understanding mental illness, because it is my background. I have a lot of information as well as examples. That being said, today I'm going to close out on personality disorders versus a mental illness. And the reason I wanted to do that is because many times the stigma related to personality disorders are extremely complex, but also now more than ever, personality disorders are getting a lot more traction and are misunderstood. And I think it really hurts and stigmatizes individuals who have these diagnoses in a lot of ways. And so I hope that I'm able to do it with understanding and the first step, which to me is compassion. And so let's talk about what personality disorders are. If we were just to think about it from the basis of a definition, it's a mental health condition that involves patterns of thinking, feelings, and behaving that differ significantly from what is expected of the person's culture. These patterns are rigid and can make it hard to navigate relationships and everyday life. So that's important to remember because it looks different in each of us when it relates to our personalities and our personality disorders. And so there are 10 recognized personality disorders, and they really are in clusters. And I'm not going to go into all of them, but the cluster A is considered the odd and eccentric behaviors. Cluster B is the dramatic, emotional, and erratic behaviors. And then cluster C is the anxiety and fearful behaviors. And so these are the things when you hear people talking about dependent personality, avoidant personality, when you're hearing people talk about obsessive compulsive, that's cluster C. When you hear people talk about narcissistic, histrionic, antisocial, or even borderline, those are cluster B. And then when you hear people talk about like delusional, paranoid, schizoid, that is cluster A. That's important to just note as we talk about what a personality disorder is. Again, like I said, with some of the other diagnoses, there are mixed factors for how a person actually, I guess, what causes a personality disorder. And the reality is that similar to the other ones, there are certain genetic inherited traits that may make someone more vulnerable, but there's no guarantee, right? Early life experiences such as childhood trauma, neglect, or abuse can have significant impacts on a person's personality in general. And so those are all going to be factors when it comes to the possibility of being diagnosed with a personality disorder. And then environmental, social, and cultural factors also play a role in shaping how we see ourselves as we relate to others and how we relate to our communities. It's important to understand that personality disorders are not someone being difficult or choosing to behave a certain way. These are deeply ingrained personality or patterns, or even often rooted in how they were able to survive in terms of a survival mechanism and developed in early childhood. So it's important to know because a lot of times with personality disorders, people are like, just get a grip, change it, do something, right? And it's not that simple. Some common symptoms for personality disorders, and this is again looking at all the clusters. This is not indicating one versus another. Um, while personality disorders are unique and have characteristics that may have some common challenges, people might face multiple things and it may show up very different in each grouping and or individual. So difficulty maintaining stable relationships is a factor within most of them. Persistent emotional distress and or instability, trouble with self-identity and understanding oneself, challenging with trust, boundaries, or communication, and then impulsive and self-destructive behaviors. All of those can be symptoms of personality disorders. So, for example, someone with borderline personality may struggle with intense fear of abandonment, with someone versus someone with avoidance personality may avoid feeling overwhelmed or may be overwhelmed by social situations due to fear of rejection or abandonment. All of those things can be examples, right? For our personality disorders, most people are not aware that they're treatable, right? And I say that because a lot of times, even within our profession, there's a stigma around working with people with personality disorders. But there is good news. There is a lot of different types of treatment that can be helpful with helping someone to manage symptoms and to improve their quality of life, which is really the goal of, I hope, all of therapists who are working with individuals who have personality disorders. And so dialectical behavior therapy, which is specifically built out of helping and supporting borderline personality, cognitive behavioral therapy, which can help address distorted thinking and or patterns that might come. Medication, while there are no medications that are specifically for personality disorders, medications can help manage some of the symptoms that might come along with personality disorders, like anxiety, depression, or impulsivity. So thinking about it from that perspective. And then support systems, building a strong network, again, is going to help us with our friends, our families, and all of those things. Now, it is essential for everyone who is seeking treatment to work with a mental health professional who understands personality disorder and who can often tailor your specific journey and issue around your personality disorder with the approach that best fits you. So here's the thing, breaking stigma is not easy when it comes to personality disorder. One of the biggest barriers to treatment is stigma. I know personally that people who have personality disorders are often seen as manipulative or too often are judged to too often to be like unfixable. And a lot of times that same stigma goes into the mental health professionals. And what happens is that it's hard to navigate or guide individuals who are trying to support those who have personality disorders to understand that, like everyone else, these individuals are facing challenges and navigating challenges. And these are the coping mechanisms that they may have learned in order to survive, and or it is now ingrained in them related to that. And it's our job to help educate, bring awareness, and break the stigma related to the possibilities of healing and open up our doors to helping those with this with personality disorders heal. Some resources just to think about: the National Education of Alliance for Borderline Personality, NAMI again, 1-800-950-NAMI, NAMI, or nami.org can get you some information as well. The helpline, 1-800-662-HELP, which can help with treatment and referrals. And then Psychology Today, if you're looking specifically for personality disorders, I would say search and see if there's therapists in your area who not only understand personality disorders, but have a history of helping to assist those who are diagnosed with borderline personality disorders with how to navigate treatment and how to thrive. And so I hope that this video has been helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it was. Share with someone who might benefit from just some general brief information around personality disorders. And if you want more specifics or a breakdown on all three of the clusters, please let me know. I wanted to try to still keep these videos within our length, which is around 5 to 10 minutes. And so I think I did it. All right, y'all, take good care of yourselves. Like and subscribe. Again, this is the closing of mental health insight around mental health versus mental illness. I hope that you were able to get something from this series. If you haven't already, go back and check out some of the previous videos. We talk bipolar, schizophrenia, and specifically the difference between mental illness and mental health. All right, take good care of yourselves. Well.